this is FX. Today we are starting our weekly review on volatility indices, starting from VIX 25. Okay guys, today we'll be doing our rough analysis and know the possible market direction of the whole market. So in FX, what we usually do in the first place is go to the highest time frame and start our analysis from the highest time frame, right? Now we need to mark our zones and know what happened, what really happened in the market, right? The market was previously on a downtrend, heading down, and then what happened? It got support from this particular zone here at 1534, and we had this bullish push to the upside, but we got rejected by one of those confluences that we need to mark and then know exactly where the market is going. So this was a downtrend, and then this was a corrective move before we now continue to the downside. So right now we got rejected from this particular zone here, right? But we got a certain market structure. If you know your market structure well, you could notice that this was a particularly a downtrend. So you are not supposed to enter the market with this fake out here. What will give you the signal of this, the market entry, will be this double top here that the market gave. So after a rejection, came back and then retest and started going down, right? So right now the market has kind of had this correctional push to the upside, creating this was a higher high and then maybe now a lower high, right? So we'll now go back to our candlestick chart and then see where the market is going. So right now we had this bullish push to the upside. We drawed our trend line. We could easily say, okay, this market is on an uptrend, right? This market was on an uptrend. Then what happened? We got it got rejected from this particular zone and then started falling to the downside, right? So we are now in a down trend. So right now we would love to see where the market is going, since on the higher time frame we have seen there's a breakout of the trend line and then a retest, and we will see completely that this market is going down. So right now what we need to do now is to mark out our possible obstacles as we find ourselves going down, since the market has changed. You know, some people will say, okay, this was the previous higher highs and higher lows, right? Higher highs and higher lows. Then what happened there? We failed to make a new low, got rejected, and we had a change of character just around this particular zone here. Then what happened? We rejected an impulsive move, as an expansion, then a retracement, and then expansion. Then we had this possible break of structure just around this particular zone. Then we had this push to the upside, and then as you can see here, if we mark out this particular zone here, you could see the market gave us a bullish triangle. We are on a bullish triangle around this channel, bullish triangle channel, sorry. This is a bullish channel. This consolidating zone here, as you can see, this was particularly a bullish channel. And then what happened? We got this particular push to the upside, and then we moved to the upside, right? Then after the push to the upside, this is a possible expansion to the upside and then a retracement, right? Some people will say, okay, it created a new break of structure around this particular zone here. And what happened? The market came back, since there was a fair value gap here around here, the market came back and then touched that, filled up that fair value gap, and then started moving to the upside. Now then what happened on VIX 25? What happened here? We had this W pattern here, double bottom. So we got when the market came back around this particular zone, let's mark out this particular zone here. You could see the market gave us a clean double bottom. So you that's ready to come into the market after this rejection, you saw the market made this rejection and then gave you the second rejection. Just from this candle here, you should put your entry and then you write this particular move to the upside. As you can see, this bullish push to the upside. You know how many pips you have gone when you saw this particular chart pattern here. This was a purely W pattern giving you a double bottom, and then we had this push to the upside, right? So that's it. So when we got this push here, what happened? The market rejected and gave us this particular movement on the other side, right? This particular one, this was a double bottom, and then we had this push to the upside. Then what happened? We came here and got a same double top here, and then we had this bearish push to the downside. Then what happened here? This is where we are now in the market, right? So right now with this prediction we have gotten, we got that okay, the market was in a bearish move. It was being bearish for a long time, and then we got this correctional push to the upside. And what happened? Our correction now ended around this particular zone, and the market rejected down to this zone. Right now it was on the uptrend, and then what happened? We have this bearish push to the downside. So right now there's a signal around this place that like a double top, but don't get it on. We're going to go to the smaller time frame and then check what the market is going to give us. So where is our next zones after this particular zone? Our next zone will be around this particular zone here, right? So if we mark out this particular zone, we'll be expecting okay, the market should continue crashing down to the to this particular zone, and then what? To this particular zone here, right? So we have this particular zone here which gave us that this market is going to be kind of, this is our support zone at this particular zone, So what happened? The market came, break out of this was a previous support zone, right? Yes, this was a previous support zone because the market came here, break above, and then we continued to the upside. Then what happened? The market fell down and broke, and then came back and retested this particular zone, and we're expecting the market to continue crashing. Then what happened? This was a pure clean breakout, and then a retest from this place. It should be once you saw this shooting star, or what they called it, you see this rejection here. This was forced an indecision because the buyers couldn't push the market up, and the sellers couldn't push the market down. Then we have this good rejection where the buyers failed to push the market up and had this candlestick rejection. This should be your reversal signal that this market is going to reverse, and then you put your sales around this particular zone. So right now the market is around 1931, so we are looking for possible entries in the market, right? So this is by effect, and then what will happen? We have to go to the down frames. Let's go down to the 4 hours and then mark our zones, and then we already knew on the higher time frame where the market is going, right? We're heading down, so we should be looking for more chart patterns and then possible move to the downside. So right now we had this expansion on the downside and then a retracement. This is signaling okay, this market has been making higher highs and higher lows in a downtrend, and we are looking for sales to the downside, right? This was a possible retest here. So we're going to mark this particular zone out. This is on the 4 hours. This is the highest high we have seen in the market, right? So this is now giving us there is a break of structure, another break of structure, and then the market will keep moving to the downside, right? So we'll be looking for possible sales to the downside. So what are we having here? You could see we could easily mark this this particular zone here, and then this particular zone, and then we'll be watching the market. This is another trend, right? unless if the market comes and then break above, then we'll be looking for another, maybe a retest here, giving us a double top, and then we crash down. If it fails to hold this particular zone, but we're expecting to sell, so if the market fails to make a new low, maybe we might have a possible retest at this particular zone before going back down, because this is a possible double double bottom. So the market came here, sorry, the market came around this particular zone and then got support and then push, and then we got rejected from this particular zone. You know, when the market is going in a particular direction, there is always a room for an exhaustion or a retracement. So it has completed the retracement. What are we seeing here? The market is giving us, okay, this market is going to go down. So let's go to the down to the smaller time frame, like the 1 hour, to see what price action the market is giving us. So right now, as you can see, we are still having the same thing. So as you can see, we had this correctional push. See, we had this correctional push. We had this correctional push. So what triangle are you seeing? So if you go back to our chart patterns there, what are you seeing? This is a bearish wedge. This is a bearish rising wedge, and we had this particular move at around this particular zone. So what are you expecting when you're seeing this? You should be expecting to sell the market to the downside, right? So right now, as you can see, we had this on this particular market here. What are we having? We had this particular push. This is an ascending triangle, right? And then what happened? We broke below, so we're expecting maybe a retest here, and then we start selling the market to the downside. So there are zones here that you need to mark. As you can see, the retest might happen around this particular zone here, and then we keep selling the market to the downside. You get the structure now, right? This was the confirmation this market is going to crash, and that's for VIX 25. So let's go down to our smaller time frame, like the 15-minute, where we'll be taking our trade and we'll be looking for more sales to the downside. So okay guys, this is BuyFX, and as you can see, purely the price action we have been seeing, and we got rejected. We're going to see more rejection from this particular zone, and I think we're going to push the market to the downside. You can see. So our next possible zone, maybe in the next week when we come back to make our market analysis again, our next zone will be at 1852, right? We should be seeing the market coming down to this particular zone, and maybe we'll see a rejection or a change of trend, and then we'll know where the market direction is. So that's it for this week, and thank you for being with the channel. This is BuyFX.